morning, everyone, or whatever time of day it is you're watching this. It's morning for me. It's still dark outside. I just got my husband off to work, so I had breakfast made, coffee made. My kiddos are still asleep, so I'm going to use this time to quick chat with you all, and then I'm going to work on my devotional before getting lunch and dinner started. So yesterday, the first day of the challenge, I didn't really do anything new or exciting. I just used up leftovers that I had in the fridge from the previous week and from some family holiday gatherings. So nothing too exciting there. I did go through my fridge and clean it out because there's always something in there that needs to be used up that had been forgotten about. So I found a whole bunch of apple butter. There are some older apples that needed to be used, so I made some Polish pancakes this morning with a side of sausage to keep it simple. And then for lunch today, I am making a spiral pasta taco soup, or really whatever pasta I have. I didn't really look. And I had a roast thawing in the fridge overnight for dinner, so that needs to get put in the crock pot. And then I've got some other things I'm going to be making today. I don't have any bread left, so I need to bake bread today. And I had some ideas that you all gave me. Thank you so much for those ideas. They are greatly appreciated, and you all really came through. Some ideas for those jams and jellies, and I have a bulk bag of oats here that I need to divide up, put some in storage, and start using some of it. So lots of stuff to do today. I'm just gonna bring you guys along as I prepare things in the kitchen, do some odds and ends. I'm gonna do my best to document all of the meals. We'll see how that goes, because life and kids, and half the time they come through on one of their wiggle cars and knock my tripod. So we'll see how it goes, but if I don't get to actually film that process, I will be sure to share with you what I made. For the taco soup, I'm starting off with some ground venison. We have a surplus of it. We don't have as much of the ground beef left, so I'm gonna try and use a little bit more of the venison in some of my recipes. So I'm gonna brown this up, and then I've got some of the tomato sauce and some beef bone broth I'm going to throw in here. And then I'll just dump in all my other ingredients and spices and some noodles that are gonna cook in all of that. And then we're gonna call that lunch. Two things that I am committing to for the month of January are things I'm hoping will become lasting habits. And the first one is to make sure I'm putting my kitchen to bed every night, making sure all the surfaces are clean, dishes are washed and put away. That way I have a clean slate to work with when I get up in the morning. And the second is to try and prep whatever I can for the next day's meals the night before. Just take 15 minutes and get done whatever I can, just so things go a bit more smoothly for the next day's meals. I served the taco soup with some sour cream, some cheese, and I topped it off with some cowboy candy. For dinner, I got my beef roast in my Instant Pot. I used 1 jar of the cowboy candy syrup with it, trying to do my own take on a Mississippi pot roast, so I included some banana pepper rings, some butter, and some beef bone broth. So I am going to be making the oatmeal jam bars next, and I had purchased, this is a 25-pound bag of rolled oats. I purchased most of my dry goods in bulk, and I figured I would show you how I store that. So I will take, this is a 5-gallon Mylar bag, and I'm gonna fill this about 2/3 full. And whatever is left over, I'm going to put in these 1-gallon freezer bags, and all of these bags are gonna go into my freezer for 48 hours. That's just to ensure you're killing off any bugs, insects, little critters in there. because that's a really sad day if your dry goods are just destroyed because of bugs. So always make sure you're freezing your dry goods before storing, and then I will pull them out of the freezer after 48 hours and allow them to come to room temperature. These bags I just store in my small pantry behind me, and then this big bag here is gonna go into a 5-gallon bucket. I am going to put oxygen absorbers in this bag, and I'm going to heat seal it. So this is going to be more long-term storage, and this will probably get used within like the next, I don't know, 3 to 6 months. So that's how I store my dry goods. I had some little hands join me in the kitchen to help me make these oatmeal jam bars. Any snack recipes are a great way to get your kiddos involved in the kitchen. I used 1 jar of strawberry chamomile jam, and after we tasted them, I definitely should have used 2 jars or thrown in some fresh fruit as well. There just wasn't enough of that jam flavor for me. Then we decided to make some granola bars as well because we had a lot of oatmeal to use up. This is my friend Heather's recipe over at Brick House Kitchen and Garden. I'll link her channel and the recipe below. These granola bars were absolutely amazing. We devoured them. They were so good, and they're absolutely customizable. I omitted some seeds and I added in some pecans and some white chocolate chips, and they were amazing. For dinner to go with the beef roast, I pulled out a can of carrots and a can of green beans. I did my best to mask the funky carrot flavor from canning. If you watched my pantry tour, then you would have heard that we're not a big fan of canned carrots. So I smothered them in garlic butter and they were fine. And then I also served it with some cornbread. That night, I got the next day's breakfast ready. Washed up my eggs, and I decided to make a quiche. I had a whole bunch of frozen peppers in the freezer, as well as some shredded potatoes. So that is what went into the quiche, as well as some Parmesan cheese. Quiche is just a staple in our house. We have an abundance of eggs, and it's just a really quick and easy breakfast. Throw everything into one dish, and you're good to go. I also got out some chicken to thaw overnight in the fridge for tomorrow's dinner. Okay, it is the next day. So day 3 of the challenge, and I woke up. I don't know if you can see in this lighting, but I have pink eye. And I have no idea where I picked it up from. And my kids also today both woke up with stuffy runny noses and coughing, and they're both just tired and a little bit unlike themselves. I feel like we can't catch a break with all of the sickness. It seems like one of us, at least in our household, has been sick since like mid-November, and then of course it works its way through us, so it's a month later until we're all done with whatever sickness it was, and then we start something else. So I could handle not being sick for a while. But anyways, on to today's activities. So we had the quiche this morning for breakfast with some bacon. We did leftovers for lunch, and I had some leftover rice in the fridge, so I'm going to make some chicken fried rice for dinner tonight. I'm going to use up a can of carrots in that, and then I have some frozen peas from the garden in the freezer that need to get used. So not a ton of stuff getting put into that, but still things that need to be used up. But today I'm mainly focusing on making some bread products for the week. I need some loaves of bread, and I need tortillas, and I need bagels. So that's what we're working on today. And I wanted to share with you guys, so the way that I have always kind of run things kitchen-wise here in our house with meals is I cook dinner 3 times a week, typically. And I usually cook 2 lunches. I do cook breakfast pretty much every morning, but we are not afraid of leftovers. We enjoy eating leftovers. It's easier on me that I don't have to be cooking 3 meals a day every day. Now sometimes I do, but I always try to make extra of whatever it is I am making, and then we just kind of we'll switch nights. Like if I made a big dinner and we have leftovers on Monday, we won't eat that dinner again until Thursday. And so I'll make dinner typically Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night. We will eat some sort of leftovers Thursday and Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday is kind of like the time that I go through the fridge, pull out everything that needs to get used up, and sometimes it's leftovers, sometimes it is just making up what we call like a snack plate, a bunch of random things just to make sure things are not getting wasted. And we all actually really enjoy that. It's kind of fun to just pick at things. So that just kind of better explains how we eat in this house. Just following up on how awesome these granola bars were, and the jam bars. We did enjoy those as well, but these granola bars are like next level good. So definitely go check out that recipe in the description. This box was full, and between the 4 of us here at home, and my husband also took it over to his coworkers at work, we thoroughly enjoyed them. So now I am just getting all of my doughs ready. I like to kind of take a day to work on all of my bread products. While one is rising, I'll start on another recipe and just keep the pattern going. So I had my bagels rising. My bread had already risen for its first rise, getting that in the loaf pans. And while that is rising, I am going to work on some tortillas. And I have a favor to ask of you all. If a bread product making video is something that you would enjoy, please let me know down in the comments. It would be how I make all of my bread products over the course of one day, like for the week or maybe even the month. So if that is something that would interest you, where I'd go into more detail on how I make all those things and my favorite recipes, please let me know. Hey, you. Are you swapping Thomas flour? Oh, now we're putting it on the floor. Fantastic. Great work. Everything bagels are mine and my husband's favorites, so half of them got loaded up with that. And this device is a lifesaver. It is a tortilla press. I will link it down below. Tortillas are usually something that I will buy from the store out of convenience, but I'm hoping to make this a lasting habit. For the chicken fried rice, I fried up my chicken with some ginger, garlic, salt, and pepper. I combined that with some fried eggs, some of the leftover rice, carrots, and peas, and some coconut aminos, and I think I threw in some ginger and some other spices as well, but it turned out awesome. Hello, it is day 4 of the challenge. You just saw that we had a bagel breakfast sandwich this morning, and that was just the bagels we had made yesterday with some eggs, some of our pork sausage, some cheese, and some stone ground mustard, and it was delicious. For lunch today, we have canceled our family Christmas with my side of the family twice now because of sickness, and before I knew it was canceled, I had already made a big salad to take, and we've been trying to work through that salad this week. So today, lunch is dedicated to using the salad up. So I am going to be cooking up some chicken, and I think I'm going to glaze that in some sort of jelly that I have. And then whatever is left over of that jelly, I'm gonna try and make like a fruity salad dressing vinaigrette out of it. We're gonna see how that goes. And then for dinner tonight, I am using up the tortillas I made yesterday, and we're going to make like a chicken enchilada verde type thing. And I'm gonna use my salsa verde and make like a green enchilada sauce. So I'm working on that. And then throughout the day today, my goal was to just get a few baked goods made. Some for right away, but mainly to put into the freezer for convenience. So I am gonna be making an applesauce loaf today using the just canned sliced apples in water that pretty much turned to mush anyway, so that'll be my apple sauce. And I think I'm gonna swirl in some of my apple butter into that loaf. And then I have some bananas that are starting to go brown, so I'm making a banana walnut muffin, and I think I'm gonna swirl in some of my strawberry rhubarb jam. We're gonna see how that goes. And last, I have a can of my mock pineapple, and I think I'm gonna try a fruity muffin with this and some peach jam, just to start making a dent into all of the jams and jellies. And you guys have really come through with the suggestions. If any of you are interested, go back to my last video and look through the comments. There are tons of suggestions on how to use up the jams and jellies. And over this next month, I plan to work through a lot of them. I really want to make either hand pies or Pop-Tarts and use up some of the jellies or jams. And what was the other one I saw? I was like, ooh, that sounds like a really good idea. Oh, and when I was going through my freezer, I noticed I have a ton of frozen fruit that's been in there for a while. It really needs to be getting used up. I might actually freeze dry some of it, but I'm thinking I'm gonna start making smoothies again. We go through these spurts of like loving smoothies and then not wanting them at all. So I think I'm gonna make some smoothies, and someone has suggested using jams and jellies to sweeten the smoothies. So we're gonna do that here in the future too. But thank you all so much for those suggestions. I really appreciate it. For the applesauce loaf, I tweaked the recipe a little bit since I was adding a lot of apples and apple butter. I added more flour, reduced the sugar, and completely omitted the oil. They turned out great. They just took a really long time to bake. Once you thought it was done, it was not done. It was in fact still really wet in the center. I think I had it in the oven for about an hour and a half. I will link that recipe below. It was so good. This is my banana and strawberry rhubarb jam muffins. I just went ahead and I omitted the oil in this recipe and added the jam right into the mix. For the mock pineapple and peach jam muffins, I decided just to swirl in the peach jam, and they turned out great as well. On to dinner. So we are making the chicken enchilada verde, and I'm using up 2 of my cans of salsa verde, which I am super excited about, but it's really spicy and my kids are not a fan of spice. So I decided to throw in some Greek yogurt. Normally I would use sour cream, but I didn't have any. So I just used this to tone down the spice a little bit, and it turned out great. Used my homemade tortillas. I spread on some refried beans, and then I put in a mixture of chicken, which had some of the enchilada sauce, some leftover rice, and I think I put in some cumin and some salt and pepper. So that's what went in the enchiladas. Rolled them up, put them on a bed of the sauce, and then I topped it all with the sauce and some cheese. I was so surprised at how much I enjoyed these. I actually really loved the green enchilada sauce. So I may have been converted. Perhaps I will still keep salsa verde in my pantry. We'll see. On to day 5. For breakfast, I decided to whip up some granola. So I just have some oats and pecans that I toasted, threw in some coconut oil, mixed that all up, and then added in some honey and maple syrup. After that cooked a little bit, I let that cool on a pan, served it over some Greek yogurt and some canned strawberries, which are honestly like candy. You need to try them. Okay, so the last thing that I have to share with you all, out of curiosity, I had a whole bunch of leftover jam from the recipes I made this week, and I just thought, I wonder how this would do as a fruit leather. So I dehydrated it for a while just in the oven, and it worked out great. It was the perfect consistency, like a fruit by the foot fruit roll-up. However, jam of course has a ton of sugar in it, and it was like stick to your teeth, super sugary. So I don't know that I would recommend that. I would much prefer just a fresh fruit with much less sweetener and a better type of sweetener like honey or maple syrup. So just in case anybody was wondering, I don't recommend using jam as a fruit leather. Other than that, you saw what we had for breakfast. For lunch, we just did leftovers, and pretty much from here on out, it's leftovers, like I said. We'll just be switching out different leftovers for another, maybe using them up in different ways. I do have plans probably Saturday for dinner to make a pizza and use up any of the leftover meat from the past week from breakfast and from dinner, just so the fridge is emptied out, like there's a clean slate to put everything in for next week. So that is all of the food content I have for you. Hopefully you enjoyed coming along with me on this first week of the pantry challenge. If you like this sort of content, if you want to see more of the pantry challenge or like what we eat in a week type videos, let me know down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. I want to make sure I'm putting out things that you enjoy watching. Next week, I am going to be taking a break from the pantry challenge content because I am going to be starting to plan for my garden this year, and I want to bring you guys along with me for that. Gardening is something I'm super passionate about. I love sharing about it and teaching others all about it. So it's a big part of my life. It's a lot of what I'm going to be doing in the coming months. And I know so many of you are wanting to learn how to garden, or maybe you do to some extent, but you want to take it to the next level. You want to become a little bit more self-sufficient and grow good, whole, nutrient-dense food for your family, and just bring a little bit more food security into your life. And I would just love to help you all learn how to do that. So next week you can look forward to a little bit of why I garden and to the extent that I do, as well as I'm hoping to take you all outside and show you a little bit of my garden layout and what I'm working with. This is my 6th year gardening here, and share with you the varieties I'm growing, why I'm growing them, how much of them I am growing, how I figure all of that out. And then in the coming months, just bringing you all along as I start seeds. I'm starting a worm farm for composting, and then taking care of the seedlings, transplanting out, caring for the garden, harvesting, and then showing you how I preserve everything. So hopefully that is content you are interested in. Hopefully you all enjoy what I have coming. As always, I thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all of the comments and encouragement and suggestions. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one.